I'm Alana, this is my artisanal cooking show. Tonight I'm doing my first ever recipe request. It's a request from Ann Hamilton from the Professional Supplement Center. It's roasted vegetable cream cheese dip / spread. We're going to work it out here. Let's get it going. We've got, first thing, garlic. You're going to take, if you have a whole head of garlic, you can just cut the top off and put some olive oil on it, wrap it in foil, stick it in the oven. Do like we're going to do here, but I buy mine filled already, secretly. That's loud. Anyway, I'm going to crunch this up and we're going to stick it in the oven. Alright, we're going to be roasting a lot of vegetables because this is roasted vegetable cream cheese dip. So you have your oven at 425 and your garlic is going to go in first because it's going to kind of take a long time. But you want to be careful not to burn it. Anyway, here you go. 425. And over here we have some more of our vegetables. It's springtime. We have some nice asparagus that's peeled and trimmed. The woody ends are taken off. We've got some scallions, some beautiful purple spring onions, some carrots. Some of these will take longer to cook. The carrots and onions are obviously going to take longer to cook than the scallions and the asparagus. So we're going to watch them and we're going to take the more delicate vegetables out first. But we want to get a nice kind of caramelization on all of them. I've got olive oil on here. I'm going to put, this is a blend of salt, cayenne, black pepper, and a little bit of goodness. Into the oven we go, next to the garlic. And I'm going to put the timer on for about 15 minutes. I'm going to check it. I'm going to let it get good. And if there's a few burnt spots on the scallions, don't worry about it. The garlic, I have mine insulated in 2 layers of foil, so it'll be pretty well, in there. And if you put salt on it, it helps to give it a little bit of the natural sweat of the garlic. So that's a good idea. 15 minutes. If you start to smell smoke or something, of course, use your senses. If your oven is really crazy hot, if it's not reliable, keep an eye on it. Do 10 minutes. While we're waiting for our veggies to roast in the oven, we're going to do some peppers on our gas flames. If you don't have gas flames, you can use, an electric boiler, but you gotta be careful. Or you can use a, charcoal grill outside. That's really good too, but you gotta be careful. That also. You gotta be careful whatever you do. So here we go. 2 here. Big peppers on the back. And our little peppers on the front. Always use tongs at home. Or anywhere. And you want to turn your vent on, but it's going to be loud. So, be warned. It's getting hot in here. The idea is to get all the peppers totally black on the outside. You're not going to burn them. You think you're going to destroy them, but they're going to be perfect when they're done. And you want to have a bowl ready with plastic wrap sort of ready to stretch across the top, because as soon as they come off the fire, you want to put the peppers in the bowl or in some sort of thing you can trap the steam, and that's going to help you rub the black outside, the charred stuff off of the peppers. It gives it flavor, but you don't want to eat the charred stuff necessarily. You want to enjoy it, but not eat it. See, we're getting a nice color already. We're popping it. Here we go. I knew it was going to do that anyway. The idea is just to let it hang out, Don't freak out. The blackening is supposed to happen, That's what we're aiming for. In this game, it's all about attention to detail. When the little peppers are done, they look like this guy, all black and nice and charred all around, and then you stick them in the bowl like that. Cover it up so you can get their jackets off later. I just got a few more minutes on the big boys. Alright, I know it sounds like there's an airplane taking off in here, but I'm almost done roasting my peppers. Got most of them sweated in there. This last one is just about blistery enough. Oh. And check on some of our roasted veg. We're starting to get a little action here too. It's time to turn everything basically. We don't have a lot of color yet. Just gonna give this a stir, give it a few more minutes. 10 to 15 more. We'll do 10 more for the asparagus and scallions, and then probably 20 more for the rest of the veg. Alright. What color is this? Ooh. Into the steam bath. I'm going to let those steam for a few minutes, and then we will peel them, and then we will chop them up. Alright, I'm about to pull out the asparagus and scallions. They're nicely roasted now, and they're pretty soft, and they've got a little bit of caramelization on them. I'm going to turn over all the rest of the vegetables, and I'm going to put them back in the oven for another probably 10 to 15 minutes. There. 15 minutes. I'm going to check my garlic too. It's been in there since we started. It's going to be very hot. And I'm probably at least going to stir it. It smells good, you can smell it, so we're probably getting somewhere. I wish we had smell-o-vision. My garlic is pretty soft. I think it could use the rest of the time. I'm going to let it get a little darker and a little sweeter. I don't think it's going to burn. When you're going to remove the skin from your roasted peppers, they're still hot. They're still not super hot. Deal with them when they're warm, cool enough for you to handle them. And you just sort of take them in a paper towel. And you sort of rub off the blistered skin. Don't rinse them underwater, even though it would be easier, because you want some of this charred flavor. This is what makes it so delicious. This is what you worked so hard for. You know, working over that hot flame to get your beautiful peppers. And if you want it nice and spicy, you leave the seeds in these, but if not, you just make a little incision and you can see the seeds in here. You just open it up with your thumb and you can remove all that. I'm going to leave one of the peppers worth in, and then I'm going to seed the rest of them. You can just take off the little top. Repeat. I'm going to take out the carrots and the celery now. I'm going to turn the onions over. I think they can use a little more caramelization on this side, so I'm going to flip these guys. I'm going to take the rest of these guys out to be joined with the rest of our beautiful spring vegetable medley. Alright, now here is some serious color on the garlic. This is, as far as you want to take it, it smells so good. It's nice and sweet and caramelized with the oil, of course, because the oil is the best part. The garlic flavored oil. Really, really good stuff. You want to get it almost burned, but not burnt. I think our onions are finally done, and we are going to go. Take out your trusty stick blender. Be careful because this is still warm, and it's going to be loud. You want to leave it a little bit of texture in the end, but mostly you're going for a kind of a chunky puree, you know. It's going to be confetti looking in the cream cheese. By the way, you can do this in a food processor or a blender, I mean depending on what kind of consistency you like, and the food processor works fine for this. I just think this is easier to clean. Scrape down the sides, make sure you get all the big chunks processed. Do the same if you're using a food processor. Every once in a while, if you get a string like this, kind of be careful to not get your fingers in the blade where the blade's going to be. Scallion threads can kind of get tangled in there. Let me just take those out and call in it. The final step of making our dip slash spread, it's great on bagels and all kind of stuff, is tasting your vegetable mixture before you taste your cream cheese, because you want to know how much you need to season it. So and you can taste all the roasting you did, which is like the most important thing in the recipe. Like really, if you're not going to bother roasting everything, just, you know, buy some dip. I got my cream cheese here. It's going to need a little bit of salt. I've got my seasoning here. I've also got here lemon juice with the lemon zest, like zest and juice of a lemon. And I've got some chopped herbs here. This is basil mostly, and a little cilantro. You can use whatever you have or whatever's growing or whatever's around. I've got celery tops in there too, from the celery I roasted. So I'm just going to cut it in a little bit like this, and then I'm going to grab my cabbage. And if we need our other seasonings, we're going to use that. I love to season everything with Worcestershire sauce and Louisiana hot sauce. This is good. That's really yummy. Hang on, put a little bit of Worcestershire in it, but that's it. Here we have pretty much the finished product. It'll firm up a little bit once it sets in the fridge. It needs to cool for at least half an hour, and the cheese will firm up again. If you want to stretch the recipe for a party, you can add more cheese. You can, if you want to keep it light, you can use this much vegetables, or, you know, as much as it'll hold. This is also great, not just as like a dip for chips and crudités, it's great for stuffing jalapeno poppers, which are incredible with this. You can stuff profiteroles, you can use it in pimento cheese sandwiches. It's fabulous for anything you want, so it's really good and handy, and you can substitute any vegetables that are in season pretty much, and enjoy and have fun with it, and it's really delicious.